You can let your mood stew, but no, beloved, I'm not done with you. Whoa. Thank you. Thank you very, very much. In just a few moments, we're going to have Reverend Ken come to the stage and start the day.
Okay, there we go. Let's rewind before all the cat calls came through. We're a special spiritual community. We don't tell you what you should believe. We encourage you to come to a God of your understanding, one that you can use to empower your life, to create more love and joy, happiness and prosperity, to feel loved and supported, because that's what we're here to do. So one way to make that possible is to leave all your troubles, your would'ves, could'ves, should'ves, leave that stuff outside. And for the next 45 minutes or so, open up an avenue of spirit possibilities in your life. And what are spirit possibilities? Well, they're for more love and joy, happiness and prosperity, all those things that make us feel alive. Because that's what God is doing through you and through me, showing up in the physical, recognizing itself with our love, our joy, and our happiness. So know you're in a great place this morning, and Spirit is going to recognize and reward you abundantly. Well, I have several announcements this morning. The first one is that Sam and Lucy have a workshop that's coming up. They told me I should read the whole card. So it's a new workshop for our new choir, and it's a lot of fun. I would encourage you to go to the workshop if you want to be in the choir or not. Now, if you want to be in the choir and you can't make the workshop, talk to Lucy, and she'll make that possible. It's going to be on the 27th, and it's going to be from 9 to 4. Bring your own lunch, and they'll practice after the service on the 28th. This is for a love donation. So it will be a wonderful and fun thing. If you've ever been around Sam and Lucy, you know how much fun they are and how seriously they take the music, and they make the music fun. So think about joining that. We still have a need for our greeters. If you're a happy person and you like meeting other happy people, see me, and I can point you in the right direction for that. We have our commitment dinner coming up. That's going to be on November 7th. Mark your calendars for that. I have a class that's going on Thursdays at 3 o'clock. If you didn't make it for the first class, show up, and I think you'll enjoy that. How many people were able to make class? Can you raise your hand? Talk to one of these guys and see what they have to say about the class. I think you'll enjoy it. If you'd like to become a member of our organization, we have a new members class that's going to be October 5th at 11:30. You don't have to sign up, just show up for that. And finally, our wonderful friends at the Art of Living, they have a breathwork workshop that they're doing. The flyers are outside, and you have a code on that. You can go and register and pay for the cost of that. But that'll be a wonderful, life-changing workshop for you. Well, those are all my announcements, so we're going to bring... Oh, Bridget, I'm sorry, Bridget, come on up.
All right, today after we have a Writer is Sean workshop. If you want to learn more about it, I put these little sheets out there on the table. It's basically about learning about the transformative power of words and how they can help us touch each other's hearts and connect each other's hearts. And it's going to be fun. So please join us. And I have paper and pens. So you don't even have to write. Just come.
All right, Bridget. That's going to be at 11:30. Shamanic writing. So be sure for that. All right, so now let's get us going. Savannah, come up and get us on our feet.
Oh, yeah. Thank you. How we doing this morning? Doing all right? All right. Good to hear. It's good to see you all. So we're going through some pretty crazy times, right? I think that goes without saying. So this song I have for you, I haven't played this one before. It's called Stand Like an Oak. Stand like like an oak, an aspen, an alder. It's in you, don't falter. And if so, then I got you. Fake it, walk taller. Anything that makes you feel smaller, leave it by the angels of the waters. Push 'em up, push 'em up. Put away your cares. Fold them, fold them. Fold up your fears. He said, come to this river. Give me your arms. Lean back. There's nothing to be alarmed of. He said, the more I know, the more I build. And the more I return to myself around every bend. Push 'em up, push 'em up. Put away your cares. Fold them, fold them. Fold up your fears. Stand like an oak. Stand like an oak. Stand like an oak. Stand like an oak. Thank you.
Thank you, Savannah. And now we have Brenda Sasensis coming up to do a reading and treatment for us. Come on up, Brenda.
Good morning. Yeah. My good friend Joy just reminded me that today is the World Day of Peace. So, Spirit works in a funny way. I was directed to read something, which I'm going to, and then I looked at today's reading in the Unity thing booklet, and it's about world peace, and then I thought, oh, shucks, should I do that, or should I do what I first said I was going to do? And I thought, no, I was directed to do this first thing. However, I will start the reading about world peace. It's just one line. I bless the world with thoughts of peace. I express peace in every circumstance of my life. I relax, knowing all is in the right order. Joy-filled, I release that which no longer supports my highest good. I experience prosperity in every area of my life. I give my love to a world that works in harmony. So, let's take a deep breath. And I know that there's one divine presence, a divine substance that is the universe, that is me. I'm one with it. It's everything I am. And I affirm the peace that is expressed through me from this divine source, the peace I express every day in any way I can. I relax in knowing that everything is in divine order. Everything is in divine order. I joyfully release everything that no longer serves my highest purpose. I experience prosperity. I open myself to prosperity. I accept prosperity, and I continue to accept the infinite prosperity that is the divine universe. It's there for me to take and claim as mine. I give my love to the world so that it helps to create a world that works for everyone, a world in harmony. And I give profound thanks for knowing these things, for learning these things through this wonderful Center for Spiritual Living and the teachings of Science of Mind. I give profound thanks to everyone here who work in all capacities to keep this center thriving and growing and just the wonderful place that it is. And I release this prayer with grace and ease, easily by saying, and so it is.
Thank you, Brenda. Savannah?
You know what song we gotta do then? Imagine there's no heaven. It's easy if you try. No hell below us, above us only sky. Imagine all the people living for today. Imagine there's no countries. It isn't hard to do. Nothing to kill or die for. No religion too. Imagine all the people living life in peace. You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you will join us, and the world will live as one. Imagine no possessions. I wonder if you can. No need for greed or hunger. A brotherhood of man. Imagine all the people sharing all the world. You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you will join us, and the world will live as one. Oh, you may say I'm a dreamer, yeah, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you will join us, and the world will live as one. Whoa, and the world will live as one. Whoa, and the world will live as one.
Thank you, Savannah. That was amazing. So my talk title this week is Sparks of Love. And if you'll notice, for a couple of weeks now, I've been really talking about, what's the purpose of life? Why are we here? Why were we created? What is consciousness? How did it come about? And that's really a big question. Even the scientists, they haven't figured that out. They don't have no clue. So they just ignore the problem. Philosophers have contemplated it. Prophets have wrestled with the issue, but it's still a mystery. Edgar Cayce, he was called the sleeping prophet. He offered revelations that go beyond just the logical, and they stretch to the eternal. He said that creation didn't come about because spirit was lonely, that it needed companionship. That really doesn't make much sense at all. After all, spirit has everything. God is everything, so it has no need for anything. He said spirit is like an ocean of consciousness, timeless, limitless, and overflowing with love. The Hindu text says the same thing. It says, I am the source of all spiritual and material worlds. Everything emanates from me. The one source. Love itself. God is not loving. God is love. And so when we choose to be loving, we become channels of God. Edgar Cayce, he said, spirit had to express itself. Creation was spirit's natural overflow. From this divine ocean, sparks of light leapt forth. And those sparks of life are you, and they're me. Now, there's one thing we believe spirit cannot do, and that is it can't stop creating. It's always in the process of becoming. And it's up to us to give it as many possibilities to match that vibration of love. So we want to provide it with as many avenues as possible to bring in love and good into our life. And since it is love, spirit is love, the more options we give it, the more we step into our power. Genesis says, God created humanity in its own image. And Christ reflected, be perfect, therefore, as your heavenly Father is perfect. Not perfection as flawlessness, but as growth. Not perfection, but growing, choosing, evolving. We are not automatons of spirit. We are co-creators with it. We are the way God works in the physical plane. And life is not about suffering. Life is about growth. And the lesson always remains the same, the importance of love. The Apostle Paul, he wrote, now faith, hope, and love abide. And of these three, the greatest is love. Love. Every trial we face, every challenge, it's not punishment, it is opportunity. The Buddha says, no one saves us but ourselves, and we ourselves must walk our path. We may stumble, we may fall, but each time that we rise up, we step into more of our divine unity, more of our power. Cayce, he emphasized the practical. The essence of life, the whole essence of life is relationship. Knowing our unity with Spirit, knowing that we are one with God, with ourselves. And that's often the hardest part, is actually loving ourselves and feeling good about ourselves. Being in relationship with one another and the world. Without these relationships, the soul lies dormant. It goes empty. With these relationships, we awaken to new possibilities, new power, new strength. We awaken to the truth of ourselves. Years ago, I gave a talk. It was entitled The Best Insurance Policy. And it wasn't about health or life or car insurance. Those things have their place. It was a policy that you can't buy with money. It's the network of love and care we weave through our relationships. When my stepfather, after Mom had passed, my stepfather, who was a ornery old cuss on his best days, he got to a place where he couldn't live by himself anymore, and so he went into the nursing home. We thought it was not going to be great for him. He turned out he loved it. Because at home he was by himself. And in the facility he had all kinds of people to aggravate and tease and play with. And so one of the things he began to do was to clip out the Garfield comics each day. And he would give them out to the nurses. And he would say to me, he said, they have a tough job. He said, they need a laugh. They need a little bit of fun in their lives. There he was, going through chemo, losing his hair. One time when I was visiting him, I said, well, it's good you haven't lost your hair, John. And he reached up and just pulled out a handful of it to prove to me otherwise. Yeah. Thanks, John. I was going to lunch, but not now. His strength was failing, he knew what was happening. But there he was concerned about making other people better, their days better, making their task lighter. And you know what? He got better care for it. They were more likely to come and check on him. They enjoyed coming and checking on him. So he got great care for it. In Scripture it says, what you sow, you're going to reap. You're going to reap. I had another uncle by marriage. He came into late in my life. He was a bitter old guy. He radiated judgment. He was as bitter as car battery acid. You'd had to tie a pork chop around his neck to get a dog to play with him. After his wife, who was really a lovely person, who I dearly loved, after she died, he held up in their ranch-style house in Macon, Georgia. He spent his days watching the stock market, the financial news from dusk to dawn. That's all he did. And all he did was to keep up with his portfolio, see how much money he was making. Now, he was soon to have to go into the nursing home too, the same one my stepdad went in, but he had no visitors. He had no laughing nurses. He had succeeded in creating a portfolio that was overflowing with funds, but his spiritual policy had expired because he had not paid into it. Money can buy you a private room, but it will not buy you a hand to hold. It can keep the lights on, but it won't fill the silence. And what sustains us is the deposits we've made through love, kindness, and community. This past week, I've been following a young woman from Uganda. She's a top runway model, actually. Her name is Akich Joy Winnie. Now, she's hugely successful, but she chooses to live in her small town, her small village of Uganda. She says, yes, life is hard for them there, but no harder than spending 8 to 10 hours in a job you hate. She says, yes, they have tasks to do. They have to harvest the food, tend to the livestock. But she says in their village, if someone sees you out picking peanuts or harvesting berries, she says, they will stop and help you. She says, they may not spend the whole day helping you, but even if they're with you for 10 to 30 minutes, it gives you encouragement to go on. She says in their village, they need no insurance policies. She says because they don't have to worry about that. She says, if you're sick, your neighbors are going to be there. She says, if they don't hear you stirring in your hut, they're going to be there to check on you. That's their insurance. Community presence. Desmond Tutu, he said, my humanity is bound up in yours, for we can only be human together. Now, Winnie's word and Desmond Tutu's, they are the same wisdom. We're not sustained by contracts and policies, but by the bounds of care and compassion we weave together with one another. True security is not found in legal documents or paper contracts. It's found in the hands that reach for us when we fall, and the voices that check on us in the silence of the night, and the neighbors who noticed that our porch light hadn't been turned on. When we show up for one another, something sacred happens. Presence becomes provision. Compassion becomes currency. And responsibility becomes joy, because it reminds us that we belong to one another. In fact, that we belong. Now, I know that can be a challenge, especially if you're like me, if you're kind of an introvert. You know, I had to get a dog to meet most of my neighbors on my block. So it is a challenge. Friday, I got a call. You know, I have a dear prayer partner who had a health challenge last year, and she's still recovering from it. She wanted to bring a friend down from Atlanta, and she wanted them to tour St. Augustine. So she had called me the day before and asked for recommendations for restaurants, and so I had listed them all for her. I had checked them out. I had cross-references from, you know, good views, great service, expensive. I had it all there for her. So they're coming down, and around 12 o'clock, I get a call from them, and they're driving in the middle of St. Augustine, and they're looking for a parking space. This I had not been prepared for. And I'm not really good at this. I'm horrible with directions. Before GPS, driving with me was like riding with me having a Ouija board on my lap. You know, the Spirit seemed to be calling us in this direction. Don't rely on me for directions to anywhere. So I was terrified, because as she's talking to me, I hear the horns blasting. I am envisioning tourists scrambling for the sidewalks. And, you know, I'm just kind of in horror about what's going on. So I took some really deep breaths. I thought about it for a while. I started saying, you know, look for the parking garage, look for the road signs. And at one point, dear Bev, she spoke up and she says, well, I see a sign. And I said, what does it have on it? And she says, the sign says, cold water inside. Cold bottled water inside. I almost yelled at her, because every store in St. Augustine, it's got a sign with cold bottled water inside. Every restaurant, at the post office, the funeral parlor has a sign, cold bottled water inside. So a few breaths, a few little harrowing moments, and finally I realized she caught on to the road sign saying where the public parking was, and so I could take a deep breath and knew they were on their way. Later, when I thought about it all, I realized what a healing opportunity it was for me. First of all, to realize I didn't have to be the answer for everyone's question. And I can turn it over to Spirit. I can give them over to Spirit, knowing how much I love them, that Spirit must love them way more. And Spirit can provide them way better than I can. Nature itself teaches us this lesson. People who study the forest, they tell us that trees support one another through the vast network of roots underground. They say stronger trees send out nutrients to weaker ones. Dying trees will release all their energy so that the ones struggling to live have a better chance. No tree truly stands alone. Their hidden exchanges ensure the survival of the whole forest. And this is a reminder that the health of one is bound up in the health of all. And this way of being is not just practical, it's profoundly spiritual. It affirms that we're not separated, we're not isolated individuals, but we're interwoven threads of one great blanket. And when one thread frays, the whole cloth leans in to hold it firm. That's real insurance. Not the promise that nothing will go wrong, but the assurance that when life does shake us, we will not fall alone, that we will be carried by the net of love we ourselves have helped weave together. My mom had a dear friend. Her name was Annie Laurel King, and she radiated joy and love. You couldn't help but feel better if you were around her. When her health declined, she moved back to the cotton mill village in Macon that she had grown up on. The people there, they loved her, and they took care of her. They did everything they could. You know, they ran out of ways to help and support her. When she couldn't walk her steps anymore, they built her a ramp. When they made sure her freezer was packed full of casseroles, she was always trying to pawn them off on me. If you came to the house, and since I had a Atlanta car tag on my car, they would realize that a visitor was there, and they would come check on her to make sure that she was all right. She had given love freely, and when the time came, love came back to her multiplied. This is the promise of creation. The love we give out comes back to us multiplied. This is how Christ could go to the crucifixion happy. Edgar Casey said he went singing, freaked the Romans right out. He could do that because he knew the truth. Proverbs, it says, a generous person will prosper. Whoever refreshes, others will be refreshed. So every casserole, every comic strip, every smile is not just human kindness. It is the eternal expressing itself through you. The eternal. That which set the rings of Saturn in motion is channeling through you every time you choose to be compassionate and kind. So as we walk along this path, we may stumble, but we can choose to grow until we awaken to what we already are. Sparks of eternity, radiant with divine love. So as we leave here today, leave here knowing that that's exactly what you are. You are a spark of eternity. You have been created from love for love. You may try to talk yourself out of it, but you could never be anything less. You can kind of talk yourself out of it, but you won't convince your Creator. Every time you take a choice that you make, a chance to every choice you make, every chance you take is an opportunity to return home to the heart of God. Christ said, in my Father's house are many rooms, and in that vast home, there is room for you and there is room for me. And we don't have to wait till we die to get there. Here, now, is the place and time to abide in the love of God. To move out into the world of confusion and turmoil from a place of love and authority. It's been said, as above, so below. But it may be equally as true, so below as above. As we rise our vibration, we bring heaven to earth and earth to heaven. And in that place of power and love, we are creating a world worth living in, a place of hope and love where each soul is respected, where the lion has laid down by the lamb. This isn't some far-off fantasy, but a reality that begins with our consciousness, a reality we bring about with our hands, our hearts, and soul. It is the very voice of God calling us on for a new day, a new life, a new heaven, and a new earth. It's what we've come to experience, and you're up to the task. That calling within your heart and soul is for you to experience the goodness and glory of God made manifest through your love and compassion. Spirit is calling you on, and now is the day. This is the truth in your life this morning. It's the truth in mine, and so it is. Thank you. Thank you.
Can we just take a moment to appreciate Reverend Ken's lesson and sermon this morning, and me being able to be here and play music for you all? And it's truly something, because every time I'm here, it's like we're the human instruments for this divine plan, and it always comes together, and it's just, yes, I had to take a moment for that. Now, I was laughing during the sermon to myself because I used to be an insurance agent. So now I get to do the true insurance, which is love. So, talk about a full circle moment. All right. So this song is called Let It Breathe, and it's funny because first time I heard this song, I was driving down I-4, and everybody's been on I-4, you know, it's a stressful road. And I'm like, oh, gosh, this traffic. And this song came on shuffle randomly, and I was like, it's exactly what I needed to hear. So I hope it's the same is true for you today. These days I know it gets hard, we can be so exposed to so much dark every minute. But trust me when I say there's a light, and there's a love, and there's a way. So if your world gets heavy and your fire burns low, your road gets rough and your heart grows cold, just let it breathe like the wind through the trees. Let it flow with these like an ocean breeze. Take it all in. Na 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 na. Yeah, let it all out. Breathe it all in. Well, sometimes I know it gets tough. You lie in bed at night wondering if you're enough. Well, trust me when I say you are. But no matter what, this life sometimes will break us apart. So if your world gets heavy and your fire burns low, your road gets rough and your heart grows cold, just let it breathe like the wind through the trees. Let it flow with these like an ocean breeze. Take it all in. Na 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 na. Yeah, let it all out. Yeah, take it all in. Yeah, let it all out. So if your days get crazy, yeah, don't think there's nothing that you can't do. Yeah. And when your days get crazy, just find that calm within you. Yeah. Let it breathe like the wind through the trees, like the sun and the breeze and the ocean breeze. Take it all in. La na na na. Yeah, let it all out. Yeah, take it all in. Yeah, let it all out. Ooh.
Thank you, Savannah. So now we come to the time where we support our center, and we support this place because this place is doing amazing and good work. Now you can support us in several ways. You can support us in consciousness. You can do prayer work, seeing us growing and thriving, getting our message out to a world. You can support us with volunteership. We always have lots of volunteer projects around here. And you can support us in coin. However you choose to support us, know that your donation to us will come return to you multiplied abundantly. So if you will take your intention and place it over your heart and read this affirmation of prosperity. I live in a universe of abundance. As I freely and joyfully give, I join in the divine flow, and all I share with life returns to me multiplied abundantly. Well, thank you in advance for your generous contributions. The ushers have come forward. Savannah, I know you got something great for us.
All right, so if you'll flip to page 56 of your reading today. No. Oh, I love it. A library of love. All right. The song is called In the House of God Forever. God is my shepherd, I won't be wanting, I won't be wanting. He makes me rest in fields of green with quiet streams. And even though I walk through the valley of death and dying, I will not fear, for you are with me, you are with me. Your shepherd's staff comforts me, you are my feast in the presence of enemies, and surely goodness will follow me, in the house of God forever. God is my shepherd, I won't be wanting, I won't be wanting. He makes me rest in fields of green with quiet streams. And even though I walk through the valley of death and dying, I will not fear, for you are with me, you're always with me, yeah. Your shepherd's staff comforts me, you are my feast in the presence of enemies, and surely goodness will follow me in the house of God forever. In the house of God forever. Yeah, yeah. House of God forever.
Oh, lovely, Savannah. Thank you, Diane. Thank you for your support and love. Your encouragement is helping create and sustain this beacon of hope we call our community. And it's going out into a world in need, and so you're doing your part to make this world a better place. So we thank you. We're grateful for your support. Know that it's going to return to you multiplied abundantly. And together we say, and so it is. All right, gang, well, we're going to conclude our service with an affirmative prayer. I'm going to do it in the first person, but take it in for yourself. If I say something that works for you, hold tight to that. If I say something that doesn't work for you, well, just let that part slide by. But just know this truth with me today. There is but one God and one mind and one power, and that power is perfect love. It's divine intelligence. That power called me by name from stardust so I could walk the soil of St. Augustine. And here today in this world I find myself. I see that love whenever I look into the eyes of my beloved, when I look into the eyes of my pets, when I look at the voices of friends, of loved ones. I see God's love shining all around me. And I know that I am a vital part of all of that. I'm a thread of that tapestry, and without me, the tapestry wouldn't be complete. So here today, I choose to see myself as God sees me. Bold, dynamic, courageous, strong, out in the world making a difference. And doing it through love, doing it through compassion, doing it through joy. Here, now, in this sacred space, I can let go of every false idea I've ever had about myself. That I'm less than, I'm wounded, I'm lacking, that somehow I'm not good enough for the love of God. Here, now, in this moment, I choose to rise up. I choose to be strong. I choose to be courageous. I choose to move out into the world determined to make a difference. I choose to keep on moving on, knowing that the promised land is in my sight, and I am not turning back. This is my truth. Every cell of my being radiates this right knowing, and I release this prayer into the mind of God to do its good and perfect, bold and dynamic work, returning to me multiplied abundantly. And together we say, and so it is. All right, my friends, I'm going to leave you with one final thought, and that is your life. Your life. It's not a problem to be solved. It's a miracle unfolding. Your job this week is to go name your miracle, proclaim your miracle, and make it your own. God bless us all. Now let us go be the miracle Spirit is calling us to be. Until we see each other again, this is Reverend Ken wishing you many blessings.
If you've heard me before, you know the day is not complete without Lean on Me. So, if you would like to stand, stand. If you would like to clap and sing, do that too. All right. Sometime in our lives, we all have pain, we all have sorrow, but if we're wise, we know that there's always tomorrow. Lean on me when you're not strong. I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on. It won't be long, so I'm gonna need somebody to lean swallow your pride. If I have things you need to borrow for, no one can fill those of your needs that you won't let show. So just call on me, brother, when you need a hand. We all need somebody to lean on. I just might have a problem that you'd understand. We all need somebody to lean on me. Sing it. If you're not strong, I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on. For it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. Beautiful. If you have a loan you have to bear that you can't carry, I'm right up the road. I'll share your loan if you just call me. 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 All right. Thank you so much. Thank you for having me be here. Have a wonderful, wonderful week.